All right, AP, let's look at yet another sample problem. Looking at unit conversion. Let's get a little bit of a longer one. So a student has entered a 10.0 kilometer run. Aside from that being a horrible decision, how long is the run in miles? Definitely try this on your own. Press pause if you need to, because here comes the solution. This conversion can be accomplished in several different ways. Since we have the equivalent statement, 1 meter is equal to 1.094 yards. If you're wondering where you're supposed to get that, that's given to you by your textbook. We will proceed by a path that uses this fact. Okay, this is our statement of equality. This is going to be the basis for our conversion. Before we start any calculations, however, let us consider our strategy. Again, just imagine the strategy. You don't have to be able to see the answer, the end result, from the beginning, but just imagine the steps that you're going to take as you get there. We have kilometers. Again, we're given 10.0 kilometers. We can change kilometers into miles, okay, again, using another statement of equality that's given by your textbook, and we can do this through the following route. We're going to convert kilometers into meters, and then meters into yards, and then yards into miles. Now that might seem like several steps, might seem very annoying. That shouldn't come into your thought process at all. If you start resenting each of these individual steps, you're going to try to avoid them. And if you're avoiding these, you're going to fail the exam. You have to be okay with taking the long route on some of these calculations. So to proceed this way, we need the following equivalence statements. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. That one's pretty easy. 1 meter is equal to 1.094 yards. Like we mentioned before, that's going to allow us to go from the SI system, the kilometers, to the imperial system, which will end in miles. And to make sure the process is clear, let's go step by step. And at the end, I'll show you how to what it would look like if you just lined it all out at once. But here, to start, we'll go step by step. So, converting kilometers to meters. Kilometers. Notice these kilometers are on the denominator. Okay, that way the kilometers will cancel out. The other part of the equivalent statement is going to be the numerator. Carry out your calculation. We're going to have 1.00 times 10 to the 4th meters. Now I'm going to convert those meters into yards. The 1.00 times 10 to the 4th meters. I want my next equivalent statement is going to put my meters on the denominator, again, because I want to get out of meters and go into yards. Yards on the numerator. Carry out that multiplication right there. I end up with 1.094 times 10 to the 4th yards. And note, we should have only 3 significant figures here in the result. Since this is an intermediate result, however, we're just going to carry the extra digit. Remember, you, AP students, are going to be rounding only your final result. Okay, you as AP students are not going to be rounding your final result to the correct number of significant figures. So that is why we should be taking 3 significant figures, but we're going to take 4. So don't have your heads explode here. Next, we have to convert yards to miles, and this will be our final answer because we're trying to convert this number of kilometers into miles. I have the 1.094 times 10 to the 4th yards. I'm putting yards in the denominator of my conversion factor, miles on the numerator. Carry out this division here. I come up with a 6.216 miles. I'm going to zoom up just a little bit. A robot did that. That's why that sound effect showed up. Note that in this case, 1 mile equals exactly 1,760 yards by designation. This is a definition here. Therefore, and the reason that's important because the 1760 is an exact number. And so it has an infinite number of significant figures. And since the distance was originally given as 10.0 kilometers, the result, our final response, can only have 3 significant figures and should be rounded to 6.22 miles. Therefore, 10.0 kilometers is equal to 6.22 miles. Okay, that's step by step. And I know that seemed like it took a long time, but we're just going over this conversion factor using equivalent statement idea. We're going over it nice and slow so we can make sure that it's just part of our blood. Okay, we don't even have to think about it because it's so much a part of our life. So eventually, when we get into the later stages of this course, or actually the early stages of this course would be nice too, we can actually just combine all these steps. So notice that all of the steps that we just carried out are present here. Kilometers converting away from kilometers into meters. Okay, we're converting away from meters into yards. Here, we're converting away from yards into miles, and then that is going to be the unit for our final response. And if you carry out multiplication, 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 and then a division here, you will still get this number. So you can combine these into very large conversion factor problems. Here, we're using 3 different conversion factors, but we can throw them all together as long as you understand the idea behind this dimensional analysis crosshair unit conversion process. You can start to do it like this, and this is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache.